Welcome to the newest episode of The Showdown.
Episode 14.
Where it's Jackie Brown versus snakes on a plane.
These motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane!
It's a good thing we only have to hear that through this episode.
I don't know.
It might come back.
I mean, the key showed up in like 3 episodes, so...
Was it 3? I thought it was the only thing it was 2, but...
And it might show up next episode.
As long as we don't remind him.
It's got him banked.
So before we get started, we wanted to talk a little bit... something else that came out this week was the trailer for the new Terminator film. And I don't know about this one. I just kind of got mad feelings about it.
As far as a remake goes, like I hate seeing a remake where they just remake the movie. So they kind of started doing this thing where they reimagine the remaking of the movie. So I'm actually kind of interested to see how they do it, because it's obviously an alternate timeline somehow.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how that plays out.
I think it seems like they're going to go back to a point in the first movie and then rewrite it all, which then you just fuck with people, because there's already 3 other sequels that followed it, and it's like, and the TV show. It's like, all right, no, what happens with all of that? Are we supposed to forget all that? Are we supposed to forget about all that? I don't know. So I guess I'll reserve judgment for when it comes out and I see it. But
so you're I'm in.
Yeah.
Where are you at, Brad?
I think he just wants a re-release. Now, he doesn't want a redo, but a re-release of...
You couldn't give it
Masters
2 more
of the
goddamn seconds, could you?
Nope. Not at all.
I don't know. Like, I kind of lost interest in the Terminator movies after the second one, to be honest. I didn't care for the third one. That was the woman, right? The chick?
Was that the third one? I thought that was the fourth one.
I thought the
or was
fourth
Salvation.
one was Christian Bale.
Was that... You might be right. I guess we could look it up, but
Yeah.
I'm too lazy.
But yeah, I like the first 2, but I liked them a lot as a kid, especially. Like, I remember when Terminator 2 came out, and it was the biggest deal because everybody's like, oh, you've got to see it on these big screens, and how incredible. Like, that was when kind of the whole home theater thing started to really boom. And that was one of the first movies that I can remember, like, going... My uncle was the guy that always had all the new stuff and the new technology. That movie and Cliffhanger. That was the one that people with big TVs and big surround systems, they were the 2 movies.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I worked at H.H. Gregg at one point, and Terminator 2...
Fuck you. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We're a little bit Bloods and Crips here, aren't we?
Why?
I used to work for the Buy.
Oh, yeah. But that was before you worked there.
The Buy.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. But,
Buy always about.
But Terminator 2 was one of the movies that they always showed on the TV, so he was like, oh, look at this, because this was, late
It
90s.
was like the height of special effects at the time.
And the Dolby 5 was like getting really big, so that they
and
that movie
THX.
Yeah.
The audience is listening.
Yeah. And that was like a staple. It's like, if you heard that, it's like, oh, this is going to be some good shit.
I still love seeing that. They still have them on some movies.
Yeah.
I always love that.
But the first movie, I just recently rewatched it, and I never saw it all the way through. It was like one of those where I always saw bits and pieces of it.
The original Terminator?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I recently watched it, several months ago. It's like, hey, this is all right. It doesn't. I don't think it really holds up as well.
But that's a statement of, does this movie hold up?
Yeah. And then the second film, I watched the second film after that too, and it's just like,
So this was obviously a great subject for us to talk about.
Well, yeah.
A movie franchise where 2 of us have lukewarm feelings.
Yeah.
Well, it's honest.
Yeah, I mean, So anyhow, enough of our lukewarm feelings. We'll get you on to the episode.
Time is tissue.
Time is tissue. Samuel L. Jackson's Pulp Fiction. Oh, no, not Pulp Fiction. What the hell am I smoking? Jackie Brown, Snakes on a Plane. Here it is. Bye. The following podcast contains spoilers and adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
The Showdown with Corey Miller, Brad Scott, and Vic Miller. A debate over what movie is better. Corey's choice versus Brad's choice. They each plead their case and try to destroy the other person's. It's a combat of subjective opinion. Vic is the impartial judge,
and his say is always final.
Welcome to episode 14 of the Showdown Podcast. I'm your host and referee, Vic Miller, and tonight's episode is Motherfucker Melee. And fighting out of the blue corner from Indianapolis, Indiana, Showdown Podcast and co-host, he's the dying director, the Weisenheimer Three Wise Men production. It's Corey the Crusher Miller. And in the red corner, it's our co-host and current champion, hailing from Washington, D.C. He's the broad ripple bravado, the furious funny man. It's Brad, the destroyer of Corey Miller Scott. That's right, folks. This episode's fight will be decided in 2 rounds. Eye gougers, bitch slaps, and your mama jokes are allowed. And as always, low blows are greatly encouraged here on the Showdown Podcast.
All right, we start off with Jackie Brown, which is my film. It stars Pam Grier as Jackie Brown, who plays a flight attendant who is also a money smuggler of sorts for Samuel L. Jackson, who is the topic of our fight tonight. And he has money offshore in like a bank account or what have you, and he's selling drugs back and forth with. And using Pam Grier's character as the mule of sorts because she is a flight attendant and it's easy for her to get things through without being noticed.
And she got that badunka-dunk.
So
I will say real quick. This is a great film. You know, there's no denying it's a great film. But it felt like there was one thing it was missing. Right? It felt like there was one thing that was missing on those planes.
what would that be?
I can't imagine what that was.
Oh, I'm sure we'll find out later.
We'll find out later. Okay, yeah. I figured that was coming. I shouldn't have asked. So anyhow...
Dramatic e-cigarette drag.
Yeah. So anyhow, Ray Nicolette, who is Michael Keaton's character... He somehow... Birdman, yeah. He somehow finds out that Jackie has been working for Samuel's character, which is his name is Ordell Robbie, and so he tries to set up a sting to catch him and become and arrest him. Meanwhile, she does get arrested.
Well, he sets up for her bail to be arranged so that she can get out. So basically, he can kill her like he did with the last person that was arrested, so that she can't talk. Which, like, her character reminds me of like the old comics I'd work the bar shows with. You know, just kind of the bitter, shitty, just willing to do about any. Like they've fallen from graces.
It's like this life sucks.
Because that's the thing. Like,
her character reminds you of that,
right? Like like she used to be in she used to work at like the big high class airlines, right? Now she's working like the shitty small Mexican airline because it's been like her career's kind of in a downward spiral, which is why she starts doing the embezzling, right, or the smuggling.
Well, she is getting older too, and they didn't really go into that.
Because flight attendant back then, flight attendants had to be young, very attractive women, and she was getting older,
right?
Which is also, I thought, kind of ironic because the movie was that for Pam Grier. Really, it was a comeback movie for Pam Grier. Was it not? I mean, that's kind of the.
In a way, yeah. But it was originally written by Elmore Leonard, who the original book was entitled Rum Punch. When I found out that this was coming out, I had to go find the book and start reading it. And knowing who the characters were in the movie, when I read the book, I just imagined them as the characters, which was pretty cool, especially with Samuel's part. But anyhow, he finds out that she's working with the police, and she tells him, and they try and set up this double cross, because she tells him we're going to double cross the police, but at the same time, she's going to double cross Samuel L. Jackson and the police. Crisscross. Yeah, crisscross. With Robert Forster's character, who is the bail bondsman. That's the word I was looking for earlier. So this film, I'm not going to get too much into the plot other than that, because this film is just so so in depth. I mean, you really you have to watch it.
That's a very clever way to say long.
Well, it is long.
This movie was long.
It is pretty long, but it's not like that there was a bunch of stuff in there that didn't need to be in there that made it long, like Lord of the Rings, where you've got a half hour of walking.
How do we always end up back at Lord of the Rings and that walking thing?
I don't know.
Every other episode.
I don't know.
It's not on my end. Never seen the movie. Don't understand the reference anytime it's brought up.
But the cast is amazing. I mean, like I said, you've got Robert Forster as the bail bondsman, who, if you watch a lot of stuff through the 70s and some of the early 80s, this is basically a comeback film for him. He was also, after this, was in Me, Myself, and Irene with Jim Carrey. You do have Pam Grier, who
needed this movie after doing Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
Mars Attacks is a good movie.
Yep, for another
absolutely it is. I'm sorry, it's a funny-ass movie.
You also have Samuel L. Jackson, as we've talked about. Bridget Fonda makes an appearance in here for a short time, which I thought her dialogue, or actually Samuel's dialogue, with her towards the beginning was just absolutely great, because she's kind of complaining and kind of pissed off, and then he just was like he just lays into her. I just thought that was hilarious. Also, with her, you also continue Tarantino's foot fetish on film, where you see her feet for. I think her character's introduced by her feet. We did mention that Michael Keaton is in here. Robert De Niro, who plays Samuel's buddy, who was previously in jail. He just got out, and Samuel thinks that he can use him to help him with this whole scheme. Chris Tucker has a small part in this, a very small part, as he lasts about 2 scenes, I think. It might even be 1.
He's the guy that he's the first guy that gets arrested. And
He's
dies,
Beaumont,
right?
Yeah, he's Beaumont. He gets shot and killed. Tiny Lister. I know we're starting to scrape the barrel here, but
this is a steady decline.
Most known for what? For what big role?
It's Debo. Or he was the president in Fifth Element.
Or
he's gonna skirt it. He's gonna skirt it.
Let's see what else. Oh, he was one of the guys in Dark Knight.
He's circling the ring.
Let's see what else. Yeah, he was Zeus. Yeah. I've almost forgot about
our
that.
world championship movie, No Holds Barred.
So he makes a return to the showdown, as does Samuel L., who was in. There was something. What else was Jurassic Park. There you go. You just keep going back to
other movies that we've done, right?
I don't think so.
I'm on it.
All right, you're on that.
Keep talking. Great stuff.
Sid Haig, one of the final characters, does play a judge in here, although it's a very small part. Very nice guy who I got to meet several years ago. So anyhow, let's see, what else do I want to say here? De Niro, this is probably, I think, De Niro's most laid-back character. He hardly has any lines, but when
he was in Menace to Society.
Oh, that's right. Now, back to where we were. But no, De Niro does barely have any lines in here, but when he does, I couldn't help myself from laughing. This is probably his most subdued role. Let's see. I love the split screen when it reveals that she's got it happens a few times actually. When it reveals that she's got a gun towards the end, I don't know. I take it back. It's towards the beginning when you find out that she took Max Cherry's gun, and he's looking in the glove box, but on the other side you see that that she went and took it from him. So I thought that was cool. And then there's a couple other split screens throughout the film as well too that harken back to the 70s blaxploitation, as was referenced earlier, and the soundtrack.